took me a while to come around to understanding that people pleasing is a trauma response. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with because it can feel like you just are a people pleaser. Like that's just your personality and it's natural and it doesn't have anything to do with trauma. I think it makes so much sense to see it that way because people pleasing for me came out of an insecure attachment, and that forms really early in life. And so I don't remember ever not being a people pleaser because that part of my personality formed before I had very many memories, or maybe even any memories. And so it is the only me that I've ever known. And that doesn't mean that it can't be trauma, because sometimes trauma happens when we are developing, developmental trauma. And so sometimes things that we've always known about ourselves are still trauma. People pleasing specifically can feel like just being a nice person if you aren't in that habit of seeing it as trauma. It can feel like, well, I'm just really accommodating and I just kind of like keeping things smooth sailing for people and I don't like rocking the boat. And all of those things are true for me. And I am prone to feeling that way because I'm so terrified of conflict that avoiding conflict is the only way I have known to feel safe. And that is not the same thing as just being kind or just being a really chill person, because if you're just a chill person, you're actually chill. You don't have to keep the peace, you just are at peace with things that are going on. And that's never been my experience. My experience has always been I will be around people and they might say things or behave in ways that I find really upsetting, even hurtful or offensive, immoral, prejudiced, racist, the list goes on. And I will avoid saying anything in that moment. And it doesn't even occur to me to say anything because it is just such my knee-jerk reaction to avoid conflict. And yet, I am not at all at peace. I am not at all being nice because once I leave that situation and get away from that person and get back with my partner or somebody else who I feel really close to and feel like I have aligned values with, then I will vent all of the emotions and all of the thoughts and beliefs and upset that I experienced in that situation. I'll just do it later. I repress it in that moment without even fully realizing that I'm holding it in because it just seems to happen so instinctually. And so I'm not keeping the peace for myself because I wasn't at peace that whole time. I was uncomfortable that whole time. But I feel the need to keep the peace for them by not letting them know, hey, that's fucked up or whatever it might be, that you shouldn't do that. That's wrong. That's cruel, whatever. So I'm swallowing my own discomfort to avoid making other people comfortable. And that's not being nice. That's people pleasing. That's avoiding conflict for the sake of trying to keep myself feeling safe because other people's anger, other people's upset, conflict feels so threatening to me that people pleasing is all that I've ever known, all that I've ever done. Another aspect that occurred to me that made me realize this was definitely people pleasing was, as opposed to just like genuinely being nice, was if you are just nice, you will give most of your kindness to the people that you like the most, to the people that you value the most and admire the most. And the people that I feel the need to accommodate the most, or the people that I people please the most, are the people that I actually dislike the most, the people I am least aligned with. And that's because people who are kind of on my wavelength, I don't need to people please because there's just peace between us. I can spend time around them and not get upset. So I don't have to repress anything or appease them. I can just be authentic, and there's no tension in the air. There's nothing to be swallowed by me. It's just free flowing and natural. Whereas with people who I don't actually like, don't actually respect, who I think live and act and behave in ways that are wrong, those are the people that upset me, and those are the people that I then have to people please in order to feel safe around. And so just on recognizing that I'm spending most of my people pleasing energy on people I don't like made me realize that's not niceness. Because if it was niceness, kindness, that kindness would be going to people that I actually liked, not the people I like the least.